Hey y'all, I just realized I finished my workout and I've been posting a lot of my before and after pictures and realized if you didn't know me or if you're new to my page before 2019, you wouldn't know I had a fluffy era. I was a lot heavier after I had my kids. And my backstory is I grew up an athlete. I went to the University of Tennessee to play soccer and ended up playing pro and semi pro up until I was probably 30. So my whole life was fitness, and during that time I started my own personal training business for athletes, for stay-at-home moms. Fitness was my thing. So I got pregnant, 2 kids, and in 2018 I was just at my lowest low. My son was 1 and I was still super heavy. Deciding I want to leave my husband, all that goes into that, the stress. I mean, ultimately there's excuses, but I just was not fit Tara. And I want to touch on what really makes a person want to change. And for me, it was a feeling. And I think big feelings make change. And it can be a positive or negative. For example, I never wanted to feel like this again. I would walk into a store, and this is when I was heavy, and I was invisible. Like the person, not hello, how are you? And then 2 seconds later, a lady would walk in and they'd be like, hey ma'am, let me know if I can help you. And it would always just make me feel bad. Like I'm invisible. You can't look at me. You don't acknowledge me. And that would happen all the time. And I actually saw an influencer who lost close to 150 pounds. And he said, I forgot what it was like for people to make eye contact. And it's true. Like people would look through me, not at me. And there's so many moments that I could touch on that feeling. I don't want to feel like this. My husband looking at me when I said, I'm going to leave if you don't change, and him saying, you're damaged goods, you're not going anywhere. And there's part of me that actually believed that. But in that moment, I was like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I am in control of change. And then also positive, meaning when you start to lose weight, you chase that feeling, the non-scale victories, like, wow, I can fit into my pants I couldn't fit into a couple years ago. So big feelings make big change. And I would say probably one of the biggest factors was in 2018, I was training a kid twice a week at his house. And I was in his home multiple times. And his dad and mom are always there. And we only trained for like 3 or 4 months, but not a single time, not once when I was in that house did the dad acknowledge me. Did he look me in the face? Hey, Tara, how are you? How's my son doing? I would walk in and he'd be talking to his wife. His wife would be like, oh, go downstairs, make yourself at home. He'll be down in a second. And the dad wouldn't even say like, hey. And that always made me super uncomfortable. And I knew what he was thinking. He's like, I'm paying for my son to have a trainer that doesn't look like a trainer. Like, I get it. So we trained for like 3 or 4 months, and then we stopped training. And 4 months later, I ran into the mom and dad at the track. And in that 4 month time, I left my husband. I got back in great shape. I was happy. And you would have thought that I was long lost best friends with the father. He comes up to me, firm handshake, eye contact. Tara, you look so great. How are the kids? Going on and on. Oh, we miss you. My son's doing amazing. I was in this guy's house like countless times, but now he can give me human decency. Now it's the eye contact and acknowledgement, and nothing changed on my resume. I still had playing pro, having my personal training business for 15 plus years. Nothing changed on paper, but physically now I was acceptable to him. And in that moment, as I was walking away, I thought to myself, I never want to feel like that again. I never want to feel less than just because I weigh more. And more importantly, I said to myself, I don't want my clients or anybody who's looking to better their life to ever feel like that again. And it was just such a gross feeling. I can't explain it. And there's so many points throughout the whole journey, but that one hit me. So when I didn't want to wake up early and work out, or if I didn't want to track my macros, or I was tired and I'm sad, I would just remember walking past that dad every time I came to his house and him just like looking at me with disgust. So pain points a lot of times will make you want to change. And that's where I'm just so passionate about in these in my training, my clients, meeting new clients. I have the before and after. I have the divorce and coming back from injuries and being depressed and not realizing like you can change. It just takes time. And I want to dedicate this page, YouTube, all my channels to try to reach as many people as possible and work on those pain points. Work on you feeling valuable enough to put yourself first, because there's so many times that I felt less than, and I'd never want anybody that I care about or who come into my program to feel less than.